Welcome to Weekly Web Development News episode number 2. My name is Zoran Jambor, and this week we will explore user selection and when it's a good idea to disable it, CSS Selector support, design systems important, and more. But before we dig into the content, let's see how I did on the CSS Speedrun, which I promised you previous week. And I did pretty bad. Let's dive in. Alright, let's see how I do on Speedrun. And of course I'm going to speed this up so you don't have to watch me actually solve every issue. You're going to see just the result. Let's go. Alright, I'm pretty sure that you all did much better than I did. It took me way too long to actually solve that particular level with IDs. Thanks for everyone who commented on the last video, and congrats, you are much better at dealing with that kind of stuff than I am. And now, let's jump into this week's content. First up, we have a fantastic article by Michelle Barker on detecting CSS Selector support. In this article, Michelle gives a nice introduction to support's add rule and explains how you would detect if a browser supports a certain selector, because that's not really obvious how you can do this using the support's add rule. And the way to do that is actually to use selector function. So you would write add support selector, and then in parentheses you would write a selector that you want to test for support. In this case we have focus visible, and if the browser supports focus visible, this block of code will be applied. If not, it will not be applied. If you want to learn more about support's add rule, read this article, and I have a video exactly on the subject. Link is going to be somewhere on the screen, so check that out as well. Next, we have an article by Daniel Schwartz on when it's okay to disable text selection. And as you would have guessed it, it's almost never a good idea to disable text selection, but Daniel here gives a couple of examples when it might be a good idea to disable text selection. And one example that I found particularly interesting is preventing accidental selection. What this means is you actually want to disable text selection on certain elements that user will almost certainly not want to select. So what I usually do when I read articles like that, I copy the name of an author, which in this case is Daniel Schwartz. And for this example, I would copy his name something like this. And if I do this and copy it, I'm going to paste it in my browser bar right here. And you're going to see that I've actually copied the alt text of an image, which is avatar of Daniel Schwartz, along with the Daniel Schwartz. And that's not exactly what I want to do. So if we were to tweak user selection on this particular segment of code right here, and let's do this using the developer tools, we can simply disable text selection on this anchor link by adding user select none. And if I try to select this block of code again, you will see that I have only copied Daniel Schwartz or the name of the author and not the alt text of an image. So dig into this article and learn for yourself when it might be a good idea to disable text selection. But as a rule of thumb, of course, don't disable text selection. Next up, we have an article on design systems by Anton Lovchikov and Travis Turner. In this article, they outline 5 advantages of design systems. This can be really useful if you're thinking about creating a design system, if you want to introduce design system into your company, into your team, and you need the approval of management. You can use points from this article to actually convince them by outlining the advantages for developers, for designers, and to get the approval of management. You might want to talk about cost and how design system can help you reduce the cost when you need to onboard a new developer or something like that. Check this article if you want to learn more about the design systems, and in particular if you want to understand what are the benefits of a design system. Next, we have a tweet by Stephen Pemberton, and Stephen Pemberton is actually a co-designer of CSS. And in this tweet, he outlines why was important implemented in CSS, and the reason why they implemented important, it was required by law. So if you're using it in your CSS, you're probably overusing it. So this is another proof by CSS co-designer that you should avoid important at all costs. And from my own experience, whenever I used important in CSS or whenever somebody else used important on our projects, we always ended up regretting it, unless we were working on some kind of a demo, MVP, or an experiment, in which case you throw away the code anyway or you don't return to it, so it might not really make a difference. But for any project that you're going to be maintaining, avoid important at all costs. Here's another reminder by Stephen Pemberton, CSS co-designer. And lastly, we have a demo by Ben Evans, which is going to be pure CSS Mario 64 in 3D. And this is actually an interactive demo. And if you can see, I'm moving a mouse here and the character here is following my mouse cursor. If I click, you're going to see that it does a trick, the head spins, and it's actually really impressive that this was done with pure CSS with no JavaScript whatsoever. And to prove that, we're going to view the code right in the editor here. And as you can see, JavaScript here is empty. There's quite a bit of HTML here, 76 lines, and there is, as you would expect, a whole bunch of CSS right here with a number of transitions, animations, and all of that beautiful stuff. So dig into it. It's really impressive what is possible to create using CSS. And here's another fantastic proof by Ben Evans. Have you ever created some kind of a demo that showcases CSS capabilities? If you have, please share the link in the comments, or if you just found some impressive demo by somebody else, share that in comments as well, and I will consider it for the next episode. Thank you so much for your attention. My name is Zoran Jambor, and I will see and hear you in the next episode.